Well, it is day 3 of All Stars with coverage presented by Alienware. I'm joined right now by Dash to talk a little bit about how the event is treating him. Dash, this is always your favorite event, I feel like, or one of them, because you just go all out for it.
Yeah, well, they unleash me.
Yeah.
They finally like untether me from the desk, and they say, "All right, go, be free, do fun stuff." Both for that reason and for the fact that we get to see pros out of their element too. I think that is the reason why you want to watch an all-star event is to see someone like Faker playing Master Yi in a Nexus Blitz game. You're not going to get to see that anywhere else, and so that's where a lot of the fun really comes for me.
And he certainly seems like he's having a good time. Like this All Stars might be the first time I've ever seen him just like really big smiles and having a good time the whole time.
Yeah, but he also showed up with a smile, and I think that might be because of the revamped SKT roster as well. So with all of that new talent coming in, he's like, in the back of his head, he's like, 2019 season, that's my chance, I'm coming back.
Yeah, it's a probably good time to be Faker. It's like after a really tough year, he's like, okay, everything's good. I was interviewing Tyler One earlier. He said he actually mentioned he had to Google you and Shocks to find out who you were when he realized he was going to be working with you. So I'm just kind of curious, what was it like for you working with him?
All right, well, first off, that's a bold-faced lie because I've been on the TCS for 2 years in a row. We've worked together already.
Maybe you talked to his people. Maybe he's like, you so far up there.
That's what it was. What it was. It's been an absolute blast working with him. To be honest, like Tyler, he wants to learn. He wants to get better. He definitely is outside his element here, and he's admitted that. It's a whole nother animal when you've got, to some degree, a script to work with. Like you have to get from point A to point B within a broadcast and whatnot. You've got producers in your ear that you are responsible to, and then all of these viewers who have an expectation of what this event is as opposed to like the expectation of what your stream is. So those are two different expectations, but he's been an absolute monster. I mean, he attacks everything that that comes into his path in a good way, right? Where it's like, hey, we're going to challenge you to do this thing. Step on stage, do an interview. I remember my first interview, I was terrified, right? And this guy is just going for it. And yeah, there are going to be flubs and fails and whatnot, but he's been a ton of fun to work with so far.
I did enjoy his "What's your favorite food?" question. I thought that was very spontaneous and fantastic.
Right. I mean, that's one of those things where we've both been there. You've been in that moment in an interview where you realize either your mind's gone blank or you've somehow been on a tangent and you're like, I don't know how to get back to where I was or even where I was. And that was a good illustration of a moment where like he didn't let the moment be overwhelming. Yeah. And he was like, this isn't a legitimate question, but I'm going to keep the fun going, and we're going to ask it anyway.
Just write something in there. Anything at all, you might get bonus points. Who knows? Now, for you, what has it been like? Because this event is a little different than All Stars has been in the past. We tend to ping pong between serious and fun, but this one I feel like is everyone's really seeming having a good time.
Well, yeah, I think we're finally narrowing in on the correct formula, which is that you still have the all-stars, the pros, the top-level players that you want to see perform, mechanically well in games. But we've moved largely away from putting them into straight-up 5v5s and saying, all right, compete for glory and actually try. Even when they are going up against each other, it's in off rolls and whatnot. And then I think the introduction of influencers and streamers was actually brilliant. Just the idea that, League of Legends is not just the pro scene. That is what you and I know because that's the part that we're most involved in. But I love this idea that we're embracing how large our community is by saying, you know what, you don't have to be a fan of esports to enjoy this event. Yeah. You could be a fan of Lux Bunny, or you could be a fan of, Voyboy once being a pro, but now an influencer or whatnot, and coming and saying, like, I want to see how these guys interact and what kind of a show they put on. One of my favorite moments from this whole event so far was when Flash in the Night and Diamond Prox won their 2v2. How pumped Flash in the Night got. Like, that was just such a cool moment that you're not going to get anywhere else.
Have you had a chance to enjoy Vegas itself?
Well, a little bit. I do my fair share of losing money at the blackjack tables, as everybody does when you come. But otherwise, I mean, there's been a lot of investment into this event, and so largely making sure that I'm ready, my voice is good to go. We still have the 1v1 finals to come, and that's usually where I like to go all out. But taking advantage of some of the stuff here as well. I've been making signs and whatnot, playing some fans in the 1v1s. And then I was lucky enough to have a few friends come out and visit me. So just hanging out with them, grabbing dinner, and catching up with international casters. Yeah, I just saw some of them at Worlds, but it's great to see Quickshot, Vedius, and Shocks again, and even and Raz making the trip all the way over from from China. So just trying to hang out as much as we can and catch up before the end of the year.
Bit of a different tone than Worlds. Probably allows for a little bit more fun.
Yeah, without a doubt. I mean, here, yes, we still do our prep, but our prep involves like what kind of a joke can we make tomorrow? Who can we make fun of, and how can we, position something in a way that will have a payoff later in the show. We don't have that much freedom within the LCS structure or the world structure.
Switching away from All-Stars, do you want to ask you a little bit about what you think of all the off-season stuff? Maybe not everything, but any interesting trades or transfers, anything that's interesting to you?
I mean, I'm sure anyone and everyone you've asked from the NA side has probably talked about Team Liquid already, but there is no overlooking that. You take the roster that won spring and summer back-to-back, and then you objectively upgrade 2 positions. Love Pobelter. He's a great player. Jensen, I believe, is a stronger mid laner over the course of his career than Pobelter has been. And then Ole out for a now world champion in Core JJ. I'm very excited to see what that team is capable of. I think my only reservation, if there is one, would be when you take a player like Jensen, who was in a lot of ways the primary carry of his former team, and you put him on a roster next to Doublelift, who has been the primary carry of all of his teams. Just how does that relationship interact? It could blossom into something great, which is that, hey, when Doublelift isn't in a position to do so, Jensen picks up the slack and vice versa. It could also cause some issues with, like, how do we decide who gets to carry? And so I'll be curious to see what the coaching staff does there. Outside of that, Optic's pickups have been kind of intriguing.
Intriguing, I think, is a good way to put it. It's hard to understand like the broader picture, but it's like there's something happening there.
Right, I think there's still a little bit more to be found out there. We don't have like everything, but the fact Crown is a massive acquisition. But then you pick up 2 junglers in Meteos and Dardoch, and I'm a little confused by that because I think either of them are deserving of a starting LCS spot, and I don't really know why you're going to put them in a position where they either have to compete or share time. And also, I can't imagine that both of those players are extraordinarily cheap. So, you probably could have saved money picking up only one and then use that money to invest into another position. So that's been a peculiar one for me. I think the crazy upgrade, Golden Guardians. Yeah. I mean, okay, Hanser all of a sudden. I think Contracts is a solid jungler, so keeping him around, letting him grow as a player. I think that Froggen is going to be solid. I mean, we've seen him in the past. By no means is he the best, mid laner in North America, but the guy can compete in the mid lane in 1v1 situations. He can farm up, or he can even win in a straight-up 1v1. That's going to be a huge boon to them. So I'm really excited to see how Golden Guardians shapes up throughout the season.
Last question here. I don't know, I'm trying to remember if it was you, but I feel like you're doing D&D stuff with Mark Z.
Yeah.
Maybe you can tell, I'm sure a lot of D&D fans out there, what are you guys doing? Like, what campaign are you doing? What do you play? What's going on there?
So Freak is our DM.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a thing.
Yeah.
No, it's his first time DMing, and I have to admit, he's doing a phenomenal job. It's great to have somebody who's so game mechanically minded, because a lot of my previous experience with D&D, also phenomenal, been more RP or been that kind of stuff. But to have somebody who's really interested in the mechanics of the game and how can I make fights cool for people has been really awesome. We have a huge party, which has been kind of intriguing as well, just because therefore we kind of have rotating members. Somebody misses a week, and so there's a lot of playing around with who do we fill in on what, and who's going to be the driving characters in the stories. I'm playing an Azamar Sorcerer, a Fallen Azamar Sorcerer. Mark is playing a Drunken Monk.
You did mention that.
Yeah, perfect for him. Our characters have this love-hate relationship. Mostly he hates me, and I'm really intrigued by him as a character.
So very similar to the analyst desk.
It's actually nothing changes in our relationship over time. No, we're having an absolute blast, and I think we'll kick it back up this week when we get back to LA. So I'm excited to do that, since I was in Thailand and whatnot for a month, which I heard you weren't a big fan of.
What? Okay.
So yeah, let's hash that out.
As soon as you said Thailand, I was like, oh no, is he gonna? I didn't know if you had heard this.
I did hear this. I heard this from multiple sources.
What?
Yeah, I had all kinds of people coming to me like, hey, Travis was saying he's about to mute me.
Who were the sources?
I'm not going to reveal my sources. Would you do that?
Yeah. Well, it's just I didn't know if they were right? People were just watching the show and tweeting at you.
No, people watching the show. Some friends, some people just more acquaintances. But
no, here's what I said to Mark, and then he just completely he found the biggest bus he possibly could to throw me under. But I was like, Mark and I were hanging out. And I was like, Dash's Twitter feed is just becoming him and his girlfriend having all this fun time in Thailand, and I'm just like. Every day it's just like, we're doing this, and I'm like, it's just too much, man. Like, it's just too much fun. I'm sitting here like, I had a back issue at the time. I was going to physical therapy. I'm just laying down, and you guys are like, oh, on the beach today, eating this exotic food today, doing all this stuff. And I was like, I'm going to have to mute him, Mark. And then literally as soon as he possibly could, the show starts, and he's like, Travis is going to mute Dash soon. And I was just like, what? We had like a conversation in a car, and you just like threw me under the bus so bad. And then I was like, now Dash is going to hear about this. He's like, Mark's like, oh, he doesn't watch this show. He's never going to find out. And
I found out like within 24 hours. Yeah. But
Travis is threatening to mute me on Twitter.
But you didn't, right?
I did not mute you.
That's all that matters.
I did not mute you. There are some people I follow that are muted. I'm not going to say who, but you are not one of them. So thankfully, I think your trip ended soon enough. If it got on for another week, it might have been rough.
All right, that's fair. It was a fantastic trip, though.
I could tell you clearly. Is there anything you want to say to any of the people out there?
Again, as always, love that you guys are out there cheering us all on and enjoying League of Legends as much as we do. I'm excited that this event has come together in the way that it has, because I do think we are narrowing in. There's still refinement to be done, but over the next couple of years, I think All Stars is finally going to find its identity, and people are going to have a reason to watch it outside of that competitive realm. I'm so grateful to all of the influencers and streamers, content creators, yourself included, who have come and made this possible, because without them showing up, that identity is not achievable. So I also want to extend a thank you to them. I think the charity 2v2 as well was such a fantastic addition to the event, and happy for Voyboy and Double F to have won that one.
Yeah, that was really cool. Hey, thank you so much for the interview, Dash. Looking forward to continuing to not mute you on Twitter, and to see you next year.
Thank you.
Yeah, for everyone else, you can check out the rest of my coverage of all things All-Stars right here on my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for watching that interview. Really appreciate it. Also want to give a shout out to Alienware and U.GG, partners for us at this event. It's really awesome to have their support. And by the way, we're doing a giveaway with Alienware. And, I don't want to name drop, but Faker just walked by and he was like, hey, I entered the giveaway. I'm really hoping to win some stuff. Thanks so much for running that giveaway. And I said, Faker, for you, anything, all right? You can enter the giveaway. That's great. There's no guarantees. I'm not going to give him any extra help or any extra luck. Everybody's equal in my eyes, and you're equal if you enter that giveaway. By the way, we're also opening up some stuff on stream and maybe making a video out of it. Me and Brodin before the end of the year, right before Christmas actually. So there's a PO box down in the description if you want to send us anything. Hopefully it's not too weird. But you can send us stuff. We're opening it up. It should be fun for people who want to do that. That's in the description as well. So please enter the giveaway. Check out the PO Box, and thanks for watching.